As I understand it, it was a very rushed, last-minute decision. And I think, we all make mistakes in life, and I think it's time for them to say, you know what, we've cocked this one up a bit and back down. That's my view. I think there's a lot more impactful things. I think farmers can do better than that. I've got some ideas.
Jeremy Clarkson, a man who doesn't just push buttons, he smashes them. You might know him as the unapologetically outspoken face of Top Gear and now the Grand Tour. But these days, Clarkson isn't just tearing up tarmac in a supercar. He's swapped horsepower for hay bales, diving headfirst into the unpredictable world of farming with his hit Amazon Prime show, Clarkson's Farm. It's a wild transformation. The guy who made a career out of poking fun at speed limits is now grappling with sheep, crops, and village councils. And in true Clarkson style, he's got plenty to say about the state of British agriculture. And, let's just say, Keir Starmer's policies aren't earning him any gold stars in Clarkson's book. Stick around, because you won't want to miss how Clarkson's blunt critique of Labour's farming policies is shaking things up. Jeremy Clarkson recently unleashed his sharp wit on Labour leader Keir Starmer, accusing him of being utterly clueless about farming. Speaking to The Times, Clarkson didn't hold back, suggesting that Starmer's London-centric perspective leaves him detached from the realities faced by British farmers. Sure, in Kentish Town juice bars where Keir Starmer hangs out, they're probably laughing at the National Pig Awards, Clarkson jabbed. But across the country, people love a bacon sandwich. And guess what? That comes from pig farmers who actually care about these awards. Clarkson went further, branding Starmer a nightmare for farmers, questioning his understanding of farming, and pointing out that the Labour leader doesn't even eat meat. According to Clarkson, this lack of connection is emblematic of a bigger issue: policymakers failing to grasp the challenges facing British agriculture. A system under strain. Clarkson's frustration stems from a system he believes is fundamentally flawed. Farmers, he says, are caught in a vicious cycle. They buy at retail prices, sell at wholesale, and somehow they're expected to make a living. It's nuts, he declared, adding that taxing farmers like other industries when their margins are razor thin is a recipe for disaster. He's also taken aim at Labour's proposed inheritance tax reforms, which would impose a 20% tax on farmland assets exceeding peso million. For Clarkson, this spells doom for family-run farms. Most farmers, he argues, are asset-rich but cash-poor, relying entirely on their land to make a living. The tax could force them to sell parts of their farms just to pay the bill, jeopardizing their livelihoods. And let's not forget the bigger picture. Clarkson warns that these policies risk dismantling an industry already stretched to its limits. If farmers could sell food for what it costs to produce, we wouldn't be having this conversation, he said. Farmers fight back. The farming community isn't taking this lying down. Protests are ramping up, with farmers preparing to bring their fight straight to London on December 11. The last protest, which saw 274 and their tractors gridlocking central London, was just the beginning. This time, they're promising even more chaos. Liz Webster from the Save British Farming campaign has been vocal in her criticism of Labour's approach, calling it a direct threat to the survival of British farming. She's rallying farmers to unite and show their teeth. The potential for disruption, huge. Tractors in Whitehall, food strikes, and more are all on the table. Public support is growing too. Recent polls show that over half of Brits back a farmers' strike, putting them on par with nurses and ambulance workers in terms of sympathy. That's no small feat. The political stakes. Keir Starmer, speaking from the G20 summit, has tried to downplay the fallout, insisting that most farms won't be affected by the inheritance tax changes. According to him, farms valued under PS 3 million will remain exempt, thanks to allowances. But Clarkson and many farmers aren't buying it. Clarkson called Starmer's reassurances utter bulls, claiming the majority of farmers will feel the sting, not just the wealthiest. To him, this is more about political optics than real solutions. And the timing? Not great. While Starmer was attending COP29 discussing global climate policies, British farmers were gearing up for massive protests at home. Clarkson sees this as symbolic of Labour's priorities, focused on international optics, while domestic issues fester. The clash between Labour and the farming community isn't just about taxes. It's about the future of British agriculture. Farmers feel undervalued and overburdened, and their frustrations are boiling over. Jeremy Clarkson may be loud and opinionated, but he's shining a light on a growing problem. Whether or not you agree with him, his warnings resonate with many in rural Britain. The December 11 protest is shaping up to be a turning point. Will the government step up and engage in meaningful dialogue, or will farmers, tractors, and their determination force the issue? Thanks for watching. If this story piqued your interest, make sure to check out our other videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for updates on this and other key issues. See you next time.